Hello you beautiful people, and welcome back to another video guide. I am your host King Aaron, and I am here to help you learn about and how to build your Catsline Radiclaw support Diona. Despite the disturbing trailer,
I charge a hefty fee for private events. So,
she's the character you actually want to use on your account. Diona excels at being a support character, applying cryo, generating energy, shielding, and healing. She does everything you would want from a support character, making her highly sought after and incredibly useful. She's considered to be possibly the best true support character and the best all-around defense character in the game. Being so, her abilities are the highlight of her kit. So let's start with those. Also, ignore my Diona, she's scuffed. She's scuffed. Her elemental skill is the best part of her kit and should be leveled first. This ability grants the active character a shield that scales on Diona's max health, and its duration scales on how many icy paws hit their target. These icy paws do not need to hit enemies to proc the shield. Instead, they just need to hit anything from a wall, the floor, or her alcoholic disappointment of a father.
look at you, Boozle!
Pressing or holding her skill will summon 2 different amounts of icy paws. When you press her skill, your Diona will fire off 2 icy paws, homing onto nearby enemies. The press cooldown is 6 seconds. When you hold her skill, your Diona will pounce backwards, and after her maneuver, she fires off 5 icy paws. Shield created with the hold skill has a 75% damage absorption bonus, and her shield in general has a 250% absorption bonus from cryo, while also cleansing of elemental debuffs. Also keep note that when she dashes back with her hold skill, she can get interrupted and damaged out of it, and if she dies during the travel time of the pause, the shield will spawn on Diona, but will then disappear once she switches out. Second skill you want to level is her burst, where she tosses a projectile 100%, not at all, filled with alcohol, nuh-uh, at an enemy, applying cryo to them and leaving an area of cryo at its location. The area of cryo will continuously deal damage to enemies and heal allies. Personally, I feel like they missed out on an opportunity to apply a drunken CC here from her totally PG, child-friendly, non-alcoholic beverage. It is so not a kiddie cocktail, nope. Wait, I should have said meowtini. Now her normal attacks. Her Ascension 1 grants a movement speed bonus and stamina consumption reduction to characters shielded by her, giving her even more utility. Along with that, her Ascension 4 passive decreases enemies' attack stat by 10% for 15 seconds when enemies enter her elemental burst radius. Now, her Constellations. C1 generates some energy for her after she uses her elemental burst. C2 increases her icy paws damage and shield damage absorption by both 50%, and also grants a shield to nearby allies and co-op by 50% of her shield damage absorption. Her C3 increases the level of her burst by 3. C4 decreases the amount of time needed to fully charge an aim shot for her while she is standing inside of her elemental burst. This constellation is forgettable. C5 increases the level of her skill by 3. Finally, her C6 grants a 30% healing bonus increase to allies below 50% of their max health, and a huge elemental mastery boost of 200 to any ally above 50% of their max health. All of her constellations except her C4 are fantastic, and if you can, definitely try and pull for her. Before continuing, let's talk about her pros and cons. Her positives include protecting party members with shields and healing, as well as reducing enemy damage. She grants movement speed boosts and stamina consumption reduction, allowing for more mobility, more invulnerability frames, and more charged attacks. She generates a massive amount of energy particles, especially for cryo characters, and has constant cryo application, providing easy elemental reactions and slows. She is also a cryo character, allowing easy accessibility to cryo resonance, granting crit rate to party members. She scales only with HP, and she doesn't have a best in slot artifact set, making her artifact farming really easy for her. Her best weapons, which we will talk about more later, are 4 stars, one of which you get for free, making her very free-to-play friendly. With Constellation 6, she is also able to buff allies through elemental mastery. However, she is clawful at dealing damage and crowd control. That's really it. She just doesn't deal damage and doesn't have any hard CC. She also has a high burst cost without her first constellation, meaning you'll most likely have to build her with higher energy recharge. But if you have her best bows, then you should be fine. She also makes up for the lack of CC with her slows and movement speed boosts, allowing you to not have to rely on it as much. You could also pair her with a character with huge CC to counteract it, and her lack of damage is counteracted by the fact that the rest of your party is going to be damage healers and one of her best artifact sets helps her buff attack. She is more or less just an amazing supportive option that you can slot anywhere and do well as long as you don't have any more defensive characters like a Zhongli, Tomo, or Chi-Chi. For artifacts, she has a few options since, like I said before, she does not have a best in slot. All around, her best if you want to give her an artifact set and then never think about it again will be to build her with a 2-piece tenacity for the increased both shield strength and healing, and a 2-piece maidens or divine cores for the extra healing it provides. Both of these allow her to focus on the defensive role she provides to the team. However, if there is no one else on your team who can run this set, her second best option is a 4-piece noblesse for the boost to attack it grants everyone. This opens her to be a buffer without her C6. However, that's really all I recommend you to run. A 2-piece emblem works well, but getting recharge and substats is a priority anyways, meaning you will end up not needing this 2-piece once you continue to build her. Also, 4-piece tenacity is inferior on her since the buff does not last long enough to utilize it effectively. It's only really good for a C2 Zhongli, so unless you have this, I recommend you really farm this set. Basically, once you get to farming this set, get a bunch of HP and energy recharge, then get out. Noblesse is just a better resin efficient option since you're gonna want it, and there's a lot more characters who can use it when compared to tenacity. For early game options, you can mix and match between a 2-piece adventurer, 2 or 4-piece scholar, 4-piece instructor, or 2 or 4-piece exile. For artifact main stats, you're going to want HP for the flower, attack for the feather, HP percent for the sands, HP percent for the goblet, and then your choice of HP percent or healing bonus for the circlet, or crit rate is another good option if your Diona is wielding a Favonius warbow. Substat priority will be energy recharge up to about 160% to 180%, especially without her C1, then HP infinitely. And if you really care that much, you can also focus on flat HP. Crit rate is also good if you're using Favonius Warbow on her. She can't use many weapons in the game, which isn't particularly my taste, but it's nice to think that there aren't a billion options when building for her. Instead, it's very straightforward. She only has 4 weapons in the entire game that she can use. Her worst is the recurve bow for a 3-star weapon, as it has an HP substat making it good for her. That's about it. Her second worst is the 5-star, yes, I said 5-star weapon Elegy of the End, since while the bow itself may be insane, Diona has a hard time proccing the effect. However, it is a great option for her and can outclass her next options if they aren't at higher refinements. Her second best is the 4-star weapon Favonius Warbow, as it grants her more burst uptime and increased energy regen for the entire team. The only downside is now your Diona will need crit rate for this weapon. Its passive also does not proc when Diona is off the field, meaning she will basically have to proc it when she uses her shield. Her best weapon is the 4-star Sacrificial Bow, as it resets the cooldown of her skill when it is cast. This effect only has a chance of proccing, but since her skill when held has a chance to proc it 5 times, it's almost guaranteed to activate. There's also a little trick you could do with this weapon that allows her shield to have permanent uptime. If you use her hold skill on an enemy and it resets, then you could use her press skill to have the duration of her hold skill shield while having the cooldown of her press skill shield. However, when doing this, the shield she ends up with is the press skill shield, not the hold skill, or a mixture of the both of them, making this only useful for shielding a hit that would wipe out your shield no matter what, and then immediately putting it back on, or for a little bit extra energy regen. Otherwise, it's not at all practical to use. I just thought it was neat. Once you do have a well-built Diona with a good weapon and good artifacts, you end up with an insane account. This is because you can put Diona anywhere since she is a purely defensive unit. She has little synergies with many characters, but she makes up for that in her own power. She only benefits from Geo and Cryo Resonance, so building them with her is a good idea. And as stated before, characters with huge damage with a sprinkle of CC will be great for Diona as they make up for what she lacks. At C6, she is also great for elemental reaction teams. For more specific comps, she's best when run with a Cryo main DPS character like Ayaka, Ganyu, and Eula, as she grants them crit rate through Cryo Resonance, as well as being able to funnel energy to them. Then an Anemo character with more buffing and huge CC will also be great for her. This character can be Kazuha, Venti, or Sucrose. The last character is a sub-DPS character that can cause reactions. Diona can buff these with her C6, but the only one that really matters with this constellation is Melt, for a character like Ganyu. So, for Ganyu, she can run Zhangling here, whereas a character like Ayaka will want someone to help her freeze, though a Hydro character like Mona, Jingshou, or Tartaglia can be great to help her out. Eula will want Superconduct, so a character like the Raiden Shogun, Fischl, Beidou, or Lisa will be great with her. Also, you'll notice I took Kazuha out of this comp mainly because he grants elemental damage when he swirls, but Eula doesn't deal elemental damage, so it's not as beneficial. The other specific comp she can go into is a Geo comp. as she grants a powerful shield, increasing its effect and therefore allowing Geo characters to proc their resonance. Best comp for this would include Ito, Albedo, Goro, and Diona herself, since they lack a shield, so Diona's will be there to help a million. Another comp could include Cryo Resonance as well, but only with a character with crazy good cryo application. For example, you could use a Ningguang, Albedo, and Diona with a Ganyu, Ayaka, or Rosaria, as they help grant Geo characters a crit rate bonus. Other than that, you could put her wherever. It could work well in a Hu Tao comp with Yoimiya, with Xiao, Klee, both Electro and Physical Kaching, etc. Diona is an incredibly versatile character as she is the Meowst defensive supportive unit in the game. She could work in every comp and is very free-to-play friendly. She does everything you could ever want from a support with little to no drawbacks. The only character who can do it better is Zhongli, because who needs a partial healer when you're immortal? But that's my guide for Diona. If you did like the video, found my puns hysterical, or found it informative at all, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel as it helps me out more than you can imagine. Thank you all for the support, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye!